Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Keaton Hall. Counties across the region are still working to combat problems resulting from the Arctic blast that hit last month. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox talked with Kentucky Emergency Management Director Jeremy Slinker about battling the cold with flood survivors in travel trailers.
Disaster is not new to Kentucky. Sub-zero temperatures, however, that was a new story.
So we did have travel trailers in Western Kentucky last winter, but we did not experience any major issues on any large scale. And I think that just speaks to the level of this winter storm that came in and the low temperatures that came in.
Winterization tactics were applied to the campers, but the freeze led officials to create a new plan A and B.
When this storm was coming, we asked the maintenance contractors to relook at the winterization. Sure, we've not missed anything. We didn't need to add any insulation.
They stocked survivors with water bottles and antifreeze, but at one point the campers became unsafe to stay in for some, and local first responders stepped up.
It was Fish and Wildlife and state police and four-wheel drive vehicles. You know, they were out patrolling, ready for this weather in those four-wheel drive vehicles.
Buckhorn Lake State Resort Park was ready to host survivors, even on Christmas weekend, and they returned to their campers shortly after, marking some degree of success.
At 72 hours post-disaster, and what I'd say when the freezing temperatures started to rise, we had all travel trailer sites and travel trailers in pre-disaster condition.
Fighting one natural disaster after another. In Hazard, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Colonel Slinker says officials will use what they learned from this Arctic blast as examples for when disasters strike again. Well, we now know the name of a man killed in a Wayne County crash. It happened around 6:30 last night on Kentucky Route 90 near Fraser Road. According to KSB, 62-year-old Mark Hinkle was driving east when he lost control of his car, crossed into the westbound lanes, and hit two other vehicles. Hinkle was pronounced dead at the scene. One of the other drivers was taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. A southern Kentucky man is facing several charges following an alleged domestic violence incident also in Wayne County. Deputies responded to a home on Coopersville Road around 2:20 this afternoon. They say there they found a woman standing outside with obvious marks on her face. Her clothes and other personal items were thrown beside her. Deputies attempted to arrest Michael Matthews. They say he resisted and reportedly grabbed a deputy by the throat. The deputy was able to get away and used a taser on Matthews. He was arrested and charged with assault, strangulation, assaulting an officer, and resisting arrest. A Tennessee man is facing drug charges after he was arrested in Bell County. 58-year-old Howard Wilson was pulled over Tuesday after he did not use a turn signal. During the traffic stop, officials with the help of K-9 Officer Jet, you see him there, found 7 bags of suspected meth. Officials say they found a bottle with Xanax and pain pills inside. They also found more than $4,000 in cash. Wilson is being charged with drug trafficking, possession of a controlled substance, and improper turn signal. Leatherwood Elementary School will be closed Monday, January 9th, that's tomorrow, for an emergency day. Perry County Superintendent Kent Campbell announced on his Facebook page that the school is suffering from a water outage. Students and staff will not report that day, and staff will make up the day at a later date. Campbell said all other schools in the county will be on a regular schedule for Monday.
Well, another chilly night is on tap across the region, and we're also tracking a few showers as we close out the weekend as well. Here's a live look over at the London Corbin Airport, looking at a cloudy sky back in the distance, and the current temperature over at the airport, excuse me, 40 degrees right now. So a little bit chilly as you step out the door over at the airport. High temperatures on your Sunday, still well above average, upper 40s, lower 50s, 50 in Somerset and London, 48 in Jackson, 46 the high temperature over over in Pikeville, but temperatures tonight are falling into the upper 30s and lower 40s. 36 for Jackson, 37 in Pikeville, and sitting at 41 over in Somerset. Most of us are quiet right now on radar. Maybe a couple of light showers or sprinkles over portions of the Big Sandy. Also maybe a few sprinkles near the Kentucky and Virginia border. But for most of us, we are dry and chilly tonight. Temperatures falling into the lower 30s, possibly some upper 20s in some places. As you step out the door on your Monday morning commute, it will be chilly. But we are tracking our next weather system in about 4 to 5 days. That full first alert forecast coming up in just a little bit. Keaton.
Thank you, Cameron. A prayer vigil was held today for a Wolfe County teen injured in a crash last week. That crash happened Thursday. Officials say a vehicle hit a school bus and left 2 people with injuries. One of them, Michael Brewer, was taken to UK Hospital. Today, Brewer's friends and family gathered at Wolfe County High School gymnasium to pray for his recovery on his 19th birthday.
He loves to play, and he'll come in here any free time he has throughout the day and shoot baskets any chance he gets.
At last check, he was still listed in critical condition. The holidays passed, school is back in session, and people are back to work. Instead of soaking up the sun and getting loads of vitamin D, people are wrapped up indoors, staying warm. Experts say this can contribute to seasonal depression, but that's not the only way that it makes depression worse around this time. After the holidays, kids might feel academic and social stressors. Adults also might be feeling more social and financial stress as well.
Anxiety and depression are some of the more common problems people experience. Anxiety affects 1 in 3 over the course of the lifespan. So like odds are you do know somebody who is struggling with it, even if they haven't told you.
Martell says feeling down for short periods of time is nothing to be concerned about unless it is negatively impacting your ability to do things. Getting more sunlight, that vitamin D, and setting goals this year might help you stay healthy and happy too. Martell says to make sure they're attainable and relevant so that you can achieve them. Staying in health news, tens of thousands of people across the country are now a week into dry January, where you abstain from alcohol. And researchers say there's evidence cutting out alcohol even for just a month can have benefits that last well into the year. A Washington Post report, showed people who took part saw significantly improved metabolism, dropped about 4.5 pounds, and had lower blood pressure. Doctors also say taking a break from alcohol can help you sleep better and give your mood and energy a boost. The Beacons of Hope Women's Residential Treatment Center in Hazard opened its doors for the first time last year, welcoming several women seeking recovery. Now the facility is celebrating its first 2 graduates, hoping to begin a long line of success and recovery for the women who utilize the program. WYMT's Alyssa Williams spoke to the first 2 graduates to share their stories.
Perry County native Deanna Stidham was in active addiction for 15 years, going through program after program to get clean.
I've been to 5 other treatment centers and just never could make it work really.
And few could relate to this like Amy Johnson, who was in active addiction for 30 years.
I entered this program, in all honesty, with no intentions of ever completing it. But once I found the fellowship here and the incentives and just the brokenness behind my efforts, the struggle became more of a journey.
Several months ago, Stidham and Johnson entered the Beacons of Hope residential treatment program as a last effort. But now the 2 are leaving as the facility's first and second graduates ever.
Day by day, I grew stronger and wiser, and I'm just so glad I stayed. I really am.
Because of Beacons of Hope, both Stidham and Johnson plan to go to school to become recovery counselors.
I am blessed to have the opportunity to pay it forward, and I intend to do that.
And for Stidham, she says she hopes to be the mom that her daughter deserves.
She is so happy that I'm home now, and even when I was in active addiction, even when I was home, it's like I was distracted or high, and now I'm just able to be her mom and focus on her completely, and it's just the best thing ever.
Johnson says she has advice for those who are considering recovery but are too scared to make the jump.
It's never too late, and you are enough. You are enough.
becoming beacons of hope for those seeking recovery. In Hazard, Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Both Stidham and Johnson say they credit their recovery to the at-home environment and the fellowship the Beacons of Hope Treatment Center offered to them within their 90-day programs. Kentucky lawmakers wrapped up the first part of the 2023 session on Friday. The first part of the 23 short session saw a discussion on further reducing Kentucky's income tax down to 4%, and a bill to classify hazing as a felony, and a push to make all state elections partisan. Other election-related bills will make changes like including more information on voter instruction cards and adding more requirements for the certification of election results. House Bill 12, the Phone Down Kentucky Act, aims to cut down on distracted driving.
Prohibit the holding of a phone or any type of device on any part of your body.
The legislative session resumes in February. To read more on the issues we've mentioned, you can go over to our website, WYMT.com. Well, now that they've elected a speaker, House Republicans are now planning on forming a new select committee to investigate the Department of Justice and the FBI. Lawmakers say they want to target the agencies in their ongoing investigations, particularly those into former President Donald Trump. The new expanded committee proposal is a result of one of the key concessions House Speaker Kevin McCarthy made to his opposition to secure the gavel. If the proposal passes, McCarthy would be able to select 13 lawmakers to serve on the subcommittee, 5 of whom would be chosen in consultation with House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries. Coming up at 11, President Biden visits the U.S. border with Mexico as he tries to manage immigration.
And the weather stays quiet to start the new work week, but some changes are on the way. All those details coming up next.